and again, this is not that Michael Ironside is not any of these things, but we wanted somebody who was kind of iconic back in the 80s and who is also still relevant now, and on top of all that, most importantly, just a really great actor. So Jay Oliva suggested Peter Weller, and everybody just kind of went, oh yeah, perfect. So that's what we went with Peter, and I'm very happy we did.
I'm going to presume that it was you who brought to home video the idea of doing this. Was there any pushback from home video, and how did you calm their resistance?
Well, I mean, I first brought it up as a possibility back when we first started doing these movies, back when we did Doomsday. At the time, I don't remember what the objection to it was. I think it's just some people were nervous about it or whatever. So then we dropped it and we did other things. Then it came up again a couple years ago, and this was during a period after Christopher Nolan's second Batman movie, but before he got started on Part 3. And at that point, DC was saying, "Oh, well, we keep hearing that Christopher wants to be doing something with some of the source material from Dark Knight Returns and The Dark Knight Rises, so we need to stay away from that for now." And then later on, when his plans became clear, once his movie was under production, DC came back to us and said, "No, it's different enough. We think we can actually do this as an adaptation." And at that point, I jumped on.
How do you guys generate that? Not generate the idea. So I guess my question is, there's so many stories in the Batman and DC universe to tell. How do you decide what goes into consideration for deciding which one's going to be next? Do you pitch or do they pitch you?
It's a messy it's a messy process. We meet every week actually with people from home video and from DC Comics and from Warner Brothers Animation, and we all sit in a room. We talk about everything that's currently in production and things that we might want to put into production in the future. And excuse me. It's we throw out a bunch of different ideas, and it's tricky because sometimes we'll have like a favorite Batman comic that we loved, when we were a kid or a teenager or whatever, and we'll throw that idea out, and it's like not all of those would make good movies. And I mean, there is something undefinable about what actually makes a marketable and interesting feature-length film, and so there's a lot. Everybody's free to throw out ideas, and we bounce them around, and most of them get rejected. But eventually, we come up with something that everybody agrees on, and we put it into production. Yeah.
Hi, Bruce. Randall Unger with Just Press Play.
Cool.
Will Nightwing ever get a movie?
Will Nightwing ever get a movie? You mean a solo movie?
Sure. Yeah. Or yeah.
Possibly. I wouldn't say never.
Okay.
It's probably not on the horizon. I mean, it's a tricky thing. People say all the time, "Oh, how come you're not doing a Flash movie or an Aquaman movie, or whatever, Angel and the Ape?" And my answer is, I would love to do all of those things, but the realities of the marketplace is, even though these movies are made on a tight budget, they still cost X numbers of millions of dollars, and the home video people they want to bet on a sure thing, so that means you're going to get a lot of Batman movies, a lot of Superman movies, a lot of Justice League movies. I'm hoping something happens along the way that allows us to broaden our horizons and do something like, say, a Nightwing movie or a Batgirl movie, but what that something might be, I don't know.
If Arrow continues to be popular, will we see a Green Arrow in it?
Again, who knows? Maybe. I possibly. We'll see.
There was a lot of controversy with Dark Knight Returns as far as its politics. It's all been batted back and forth.
Yeah.
Were you concerned about that, bringing it to the film version?
Well, fortunately for me, on my takeaway from reading the original, in terms of political mind view, is that Frank Miller seems to hate everybody. It's not that he hates liberals or he hates conservatives. I mean, I think overall the tone of the book is it leans right, but then again, he's got all this stuff in there where he's bashing Reagan, who's like this huge conservative icon. So it's there's a lot of satiric barbs to throw around on either side. So we just want to make sure that we kept it fairly even, so that we couldn't be saying, oh, this is just right-wing propaganda or left-wing propaganda.
I'm down with hating everybody, so we're good there.
I shouldn't have said that. Frank doesn't hate everybody. I don't think Frank hates anybody.
Here's Timm. Frank Miller hates
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure
That's
he
the
hates
headline.
He
everything.
loves everybody in a very severe way.
There you go.
In making the adaptation, what would you say was the most significant challenge in trying to get this really seminal work to play well on screen?
There's not an easy answer to that. I mean, it's a lot of different things. It's, from the beginning, the discussion with the writer, Bob Goodman, about, broad view of what the movie should be, and then just kind of giving him a shot at breaking it down into an outline. And you read his outline, it's like, oh yeah, he seemed to hit all the high points, and then he turns in his first draft, and it's like, oh, well, you need to put this one line of dialogue that's missing, or this is an important point, you got to put that in. So it's a little bit of back and forth, but it's like I said, it's a complicated process that doesn't sound very interesting when I explain it. So,
was there talk about how much you'd actually replicate the art in the film, or?
well, we wanted to make it look as much like the source material as possible, but knowing straight up that we weren't going to make it look exactly like the comic, because the comic it's kind of all over the place. It's like Batman looks different in every other panel, which happens a lot in comics. I mean, it happened when we did All-Star Superman 2, so it's always a trick to find, okay, what are the most iconic things about the original art that makes it look like Frank Miller art, and yet at the same time can also be translated to animation. So it's, again, that's a vague process that happens, and how successful we are at it, we can't be the judge of it. But we definitely referred to the comic on every background character, every vehicle, every location, every the color schemes. We were constantly referring to the comic and saying, somehow we got to make it look like that. So we're wrapping up now. One question.
Can you talk a little bit about, out of all the universes you created, which one's your favorite, and what is your favorite moment? That's your wrap-up
Favorite
question.
moment?
Yeah, from just anything you've done.
I don't have a favorite moment. There's too many. Favorite universes I've created? I haven't really created that many universes. I mean, the one that started with Batman through Justice League, I'm obviously very fond of.
Do you have a favorite Batman the Animated Series episode?
No, I don't. Too many. I couldn't narrow it down. Sorry.
Do you have one that you
Yeah.
don't like or that you really don't like?
Oh, I have tons that I don't like. Are you kidding? Again, I couldn't narrow that down either. Which one's the worst? No, there's too many. So I guess that's it.
In terms